All right, good evening, everybody. We'd like to welcome you into the live broadcast of Texas League Baseball. This is Johnny Baker reporting live from Midland, Texas, as we get ready for Game 5 of this six-game series between the visiting San Antonio Missions and your Midland Rockhounds. Well, after the game tonight, sit back, relax, and enjoy the best fireworks show courtesy of the Midland Rockhounds. These two teams conclude tomorrow afternoon at 1:05 our first pitch, and after that, it's 4 days of nice relaxation as we go home and have a good time and enjoy movies and fun at the swimming pool or whatever we do for fun, free activities outdoors. But anyway, if we do have some rain and thunderstorms on the way home tomorrow, after the game, we will definitely get some pretty good rain from those storms. Well, anyway, now tomorrow is, whatever promotion we have, and so far it will be a pretty good one for the Rockhounds here in Game 6. Well, last night, Midland took the W by the final score 3-0. And so far, tied series here in this one. San Antonio winning the first two, Tuesday and Wednesday. Midland winning Thursday night and Friday night. And tonight, it will be a real game changer if Midland can win this one. And they would break the tiebreaker, most evidently, or if San Antonio comes in from behind and takes this one, and then tomorrow afternoon, a real game changer, the final game of this six-game series. Well, anyway, I'm here in the booth all by myself. Bob has gone back to San Antonio. He left yesterday because of a family issue going on. His wife, Ann, had passed away at the age of 94 years old. And so far, our thoughts and prayers to our other guy that's always in the booth with me and always making y'all laugh, making me laugh, all types of stuff. But anyway, he won't be here for the rest of this first half as we get ready to conclude after tomorrow. Well, anyway, it's been a real great first half for all these ball clubs in the Texas League, and so far we want to wish our final four contestants that have made it into the playoff rounds, and so far, may the best team win at the end of September in the regular season. But anyway, San Antonio having 6 in Amarillo to conclude that second half. And then after that, it'll be the final four teams that will converge play as we get ready to see who's taking this year's Texas League title. Well, anyway, got to say, I just got a text message from Bob, and boy, it has rained in San Antonio today. Thunderstorms came in around 1, 2 o'clock this afternoon, and he said that there was 6 inches of rain that has fallen in the past hour and a half. But getting into 1604, getting into San Antonio, it has been really coming down hard. There has been at least a few water rescues, but most evidently not too bad. But the rain and thunderstorm activity has been high like crazy. And so far, it has been raining quite a bunch there in San Antonio. But tomorrow, partly cloudy skies for tomorrow's game and slight chance of a thunderstorm here or there. But it will be outside the viewing area. But can't rule out the possibility of a light rain or even a shower or thunderstorm in tomorrow afternoon. But anyway, temperatures will be up hot at 97 degrees. That's why The Rockhounds will be wearing their home white uniforms, San Antonio to the road grays, and so far pretty good on that. Well, anyway, Leo Dallas DeVries is not going to be playing in this Saturday and Sunday games because he heads to Philadelphia for the All-Stars Futures game. He was hand-selected by the Rockhounds, and so far there will be the leadoff batter for Midland that will come in and take the place of Leo Dallas DeVries, who is pretty much headed to Philadelphia as we speak. Well, anyway, we wish him the best of luck there in Philadelphia. And so far, pretty good as, he's in a minor league contract right now, but, headed up to Philadelphia to pitch in the Futures game. As, being hand selected is a pretty good opportunity for any player to get in, and so far, really good. Well, no word on Ryan Lasco's condition, but evidently he is good, as we all know, but evidently for the probably rest of the season, he's going to be off, and, hopefully he'll get to feeling better and then come back again next year as we start 2027. Well, anyway, we'll just make this pregame show short and sweet, and got to say, tonight will be Game 5 and the fireworks show that will conclude in this ball game tonight. And so far, hope y'all sit back, relax, and enjoy those fireworks after the ball game, after this one. Don't forget, our two teams will conclude this series tomorrow, 1:05, our first pitch. Gates open at high noon. We ask that you bring water, or you can find the water in Gatorade at our concession stands, and selling it for $2. That will be a real good deal. Well, anyway, we got our partly cloudy skies tonight. Temperature at 82 degrees. Not too bad. Clouds definitely in the mix with the sun, and we could see a pretty nice hue as we get into this ball game. Well, anyway, it is 7:14. We'll take you downstairs, and here in Midland, we've got a pretty good show to put on for you today. Now, Rockhounds wearing their orange and grays, San Antonio into their road grays, and got to say, gonna be a pretty good one as we go on. Right-hander Kenya Huggins is on the mound for the Rockhounds. And so for the scouting report is 95 on the four-seam fastball, slider, changeup, and a cutter coming in. Just got a text message from Bob, and he says hello. The leadoff hitter tonight. Well, the shortstop is Ryan Jackson as he comes in. About set, ready to go here for San Antonio here this evening. And 3 words, let's play ball. First pitch by Kenya Huggins is in for the cold strike. It's 0-1. Well, Northwest Arkansas and Wichita, bottom of the 5th inning, no score there at the porch in Wichita, Kansas. 1 ball, 1 strike the count now. 1-1 by Huggins. And the pitch right there, swing and a miss. It's 1-2. Last night game of the first half, and gotta say it has been a real fun one here as we have played baseball all the way from opening day till this evening. That one right there, and that is fouled off. 1-2. Still hanging on is Ryan Jackson, the shortstop. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the pitch, and that is a changeup outside, 2-2. Well, Bob is also in the live chat. Hey, Bob, how you doing? He says he's doing pretty good. Well, good to hear. I hope your family's doing good during this tough time. Our thoughts and prayers to your family. Ball 3. 3-2 the count now. Kai Roberts on deck for San Antonio. 3-2 offering. Here's the pitch, and that one's going to be yanked out of play, foul. It's still hanging on. 8 pitches at this at-bat. Here's the wind-up offering, and that's a swing and miss. And that is out number 1. And with that, let's give the San Antonio starting lineups. Jackson Robert Salas will lead it off. Sanabria, Carpathios, Fabian Middle, Mondu, Murphy, and Verdugo rounded out for San Antonio here tonight. Bob says who won yesterday? Midland did. Kai Roberts, the center fielder, comes in and takes a strike. It's 0-1. Final score 3-0. If you watched the ball game or you heard it on the radio yesterday, it was really phenomenal to see the Rockhounds take that game and tie up against San Antonio last night. So 1 ball and 1 strike the count now. Here's the pitch. Right there, ground hop straight to second. Up to first in time, and that's out number 2.
Catcher, number 90.
Well, that'll bring up number 90, the catcher, Ethan Salas. Well, Salas doing pretty good. Got a little banged up yesterday, but he's back at it tonight. And that is right there. Liner straightaway center through for a hit. And that's a 2-out single by Ethan Salas as he gets on for San Antonio. Here's Romeo Sanabria. Sanabria coming in. Here's the windup and the pitch, and that's going to be right there. Line drive. That's a dive and stop through to first, and that's in time, out number 3. And the side is retired. Boy, Colby Halter, a magnificent play right there, as that will be it for the 3rd and final out as he lays down and throws down to first. We go now to the bottom of the 1st inning. No runs on a hit, no errors, and 1 left for San Antonio as we get ready for the bottom of 1. It's no score. Well, just about set to go for the bottom of the 1st inning right now to the Rockhounds Baseball Network. And on the mound is Emmanuel Penales as he'll get on the start for San Antonio. And so far at that scouting report, 95 on the 4-seam fastball, a slider, changeup, and a sinker towards the scouting report of Penales. And so far a pretty good one. Shortstop is Drew Swift as he leads it off for Midland. And here we go to the bottom of the 1st. That pitch is in for a called strike. It's 0-1. Sun and clouds mix. We didn't lie to you about that, but Temperatures finally getting to an air cool, and that's going to be right there. Down the line, that is through for a base hit. And Swift, the shortstop, has a double to lead it off here in this half inning.
Second baseman, number
What a
17.
great way to get on base is to see something like that go on. And yes, it has gone on a lot through the season. A lot of base hits, a lot of home runs, a lot of RBIs, stolen bases, a lot of stuff. It's real interesting when you watch a regular season, especially this first half. Getting pretty good. Second baseman Colby Halter coming in. Boy, Springfield just beating the tarnation out of the Tulsa Drillers. Top of the first inning, it is Springfield 7 and Tulsa nothing. Geez, and I wonder what's going on there in Tulsa, Oklahoma. It's probably a bad ball game, probably some errors committed. You never know. No balls, 2 strikes to Halter. Runner in scoring position. And that one is going to be out of play, foul. It's 0-2. Still hanging on is Colby Halter, the second baseman. High fly in the air straight away. That is going out of play, foul. And the count now, 0-2. Overcast conditions for the people watching in San Antonio. Few moderate rain showers around the area. 1 ball and 2 strikes to pitch. And that one yanked out of play, foul. Still hanging on to the count. A lot of fans here in Midland and fans coming from San Antonio to watch this game. Game 5 is tonight and Game 6 tomorrow afternoon at 1:05, as we mentioned the past couple of times. That one high in the air, straightaway center, and that's going to Kai Roberts. And the runner going from second goes to third, and he's going to be right there. And that is a 1-out flyout. Drew Swift covering Leo Dallas DeVries' position. Halter and Nankiel, Malone, Beers, Mann, Leary, Elliott, and McGuire rounded out for Midland here tonight. Right fielder Nate Nankiel being next up in line. Boy, Leo Dallas DeVries getting that call to Philadelphia to pitch and to bat in the Futures All-Stars game, I would say. Boy, I tell you, that's the first time I have ever stuttered in tonight's ball game, but I have done that through the past 6 years. Here's the 0-1, and that is inside for a strike. It's 0-2. First run for Midland at 90 feet away. And here's the pitch. That one is ricochet foul. It's still hanging on at 0-2. Boy, the Springfield Cardinals really doing good there in Tulsa. 7 runs, top of the first inning. And that's going to get down. Line drive. That is a base hit. And the left fielder takes quite a tumble as he stops the ball from going to the left field wall to bring in the double by the next leadoff batter. And the Rockhounds have scored their first run. It's 1-0 Midland. Brendan Malone coming in now as he's a 4-hole hitter. And he'll take that one in for a strike. And it's 0-1. Frisco and Corpus Christi down to the bottom of the first. Also in Amarillo, the Arkansas Travelers there tonight. And that is going to be right there to second for 1. And they get them both. That is a Taco Villa double play. And with that, the side is retired. Nate Nankiel getting the first run on 2 hits, no errors. And they leave 1 on. And we head to the second inning. It is Midland Rockhounds 1, San Antonio Missions nothing. We're back here right after these commercial messages, and this one brought to you in part by our favorite fast food places in the Permian Basin. That is Taco Villa, Roses, and Texas Burger. And so far, don't forget that it is also Whataburger. It's always served hot and fresh. So make sure you get in and have some pretty good ones. If so, the Rockhounds, if they get 10 strikes or more, that would be a free breakfast on the bun courtesy of the Rockhounds. Anywhere in the Texas League, if strikeouts are a big factor for a lot of these Texas League pitchers, that is always a good thing. Anyway, it is top of the sixth there for Northwest Arkansas and Wichita, and I gotta say, that ball game has moved into the latter parts of their half innings as they had a 6:05 pitch, and so far that game has been scoreless like crazy, but I'll go ahead and take you to DCJ Field and we'll see what's going on there with the 7-0 lead for Springfield. Boy, they're not even done yet. It's only 2 outs. 2 outs and 2 runners on. And boy, tell you one thing, that is just crazy, just seeing how 7 runs come in. But we'll definitely see why that was the main issue. Oh yeah, so 7 runs on 6 hits, 2 errors for Tulsa. Boy, that really kills them in that one. You know, making so many errors, that will literally just beat the darn daylights out of you. But anyway, I guess it is what it is. That's baseball for you. You know, you misplay the ball or every little detail works. But most evidently, it just gets crazy, making 2 errors or more errors than that. But, well, you get the whole idea. I mean, you go to these ball games and you know. Well, top half of the second inning as we welcome you back to the Rockhounds Baseball Network. Brennan Carpathios, the next batter up for San Antonio. As we get ready for the next half inning for the Missions, and that one's going to be a slider downstairs. It's 1-0. Boy, tell you one thing, it gets pretty interesting to see some pretty fun shenanigans going on, but most evidently that is how baseball is played. It is a game of inches. That is right there, the count now 1-2. Well, Bob is watching at home, and gotta say, pretty nice that he made it back to San Antonio after yesterday. And it was getting dark as he was leaving the ballpark. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And here is the pitch right there, swing and a miss. And that is 1 down. Well, second strikeout for the starter here for Midland, Kenya Huggins. And that's a ground ball straight away. Up to first and in time, and that's out number 2. So 2 quick outs here to begin this top half of the frame. There is Nate Mondu, the third baseman. Rosemond Verdugo, boy, tell you, he was a great former San Antonio Mission third baseman. Boy, Marcos Castañon getting that call up to AAA this week for the Missions. El Paso. Here's a 1-0 offering, and that is a swing and a miss. It's 1-1. Boy, to tell you one thing, there was a call-up. Gavin Conicello for the Amarillo Sod Poodles got traded up to AAA Reno. So, to Gavin, we say best of luck to him in AAA Reno Aces. That's right there, up to the right field area, and that will be out number 3. No runs, hits, or errors, and nobody left on for San Antonio. And we head now to the bottom half of the second inning. Rockhounds lead at 1-0. We're back here as Blake Beers will get things going in the bottom of 2. And we'll be right back here in this one. Well, we head to the bottom half of the second inning right now, the Rockhounds Baseball Network. Leading it off, Blake Beers, the 5-0 batter, 5'6", due up against Emmanuel Pinales. Rockhounds leading it 1-0 here in this ball game. And so far, if you are joining us or watching live from San Antonio, that's good too. Missions are almost complete through the second half. Well, first half, I should say. Second half hasn't even begun yet. Here's the 0-2 offering, and that one is going to be out of play. It's 0-2, still hanging on his foul. No balls, 2 strikes.
Ball.
And that is outside for a ball. It's 1-2. Second half begins with San Antonio taking on Corpus Christi. And the Frisco Rough Riders that follow in behind them. And right there, called strike 3, and that will be out number 1. Boy, first one for Emmanuel Pinales as he gets into the strikeout. Boy, Midland starting the second half on the road as they head to Northwest Arkansas for 3, Wichita for 6. Start 9 games on the road. And then come back and take on the Arkansas Travelers right after that. Be pretty interesting to see how the second half will play out, but most evidently it will play out pretty good. That's right there, up to right field, and that is through for a base hit. Luke Mann gets on, and so far a pretty good one to him. Cameron Leary coming in now, and here's the pitch to him. And boy, that one is pelted out of here deep to right center. That is gone. And Midland will strike for 2 by Cameron Leary, his first home run of tonight's game. And the Rockhounds will take a 3-0 lead here in the bottom of 2. Boy, tell you one thing, that was really a hard-hit ball. And it was up to straightaway center, shy of right field. Clark Elliott coming in now. And here's the pitch right there high in the air. Out in the foul grounds near the cameras, and that is going to be out for a foul ball. It's 0-1. No balls and 1 strike. Bottom of the second. Rockhounds lead 3-0. And that is in for a strike. It's 0-2. Well, last night, San Antonio, boy, they were scoreless. Most evidently coming in and didn't have no runs except for 3 hits it allowed in this game. And I tell you one thing pretty good. Here is the 0-2 offering. That one's yanked foul, and 0-2. Still hanging on is Clark Elliott. No balls, 2 strikes. Down, swing, and it goes near the dirt, and that's out number 2. Shane McGuire coming up now for Midland. And here's the pitch. Swing and a miss, and it's 0-1. Boy, anybody's ball game. If Midland breaks the tiebreaker tonight, that would be good too. If San Antonio comes around and takes this one, then they will be on top with a 3-2 lead. And then tomorrow, it's anybody's ball game. They could take it. Easily said than done. Right there, called strike 3, and that does it. Well, Cameron Leary getting the 2-run shot to straightaway right center field. 2 runs on 2 hits, no errors, and nobody left on for Midland. We head now to the top half of the third inning. Rockhounds lead it 3-0. Well, just about set to go for the third inning here tonight, as we'll have the next batter up, San Antonio left fielder Kai Murphy. This proud broadcast brought to you in part by our friends there at Taco Villa. Always a good place for the freshest of all Mexican food. Taco Villa, spice your life. 1 ball, no strikes. Right there and outside, that is right in the count now, 1-1. Get to enjoy that for the next 2 days in a row. That is really good. Right there, line drive. That is a base hit to left. That is getting down. And there is going to Kai Murphy. He has a stand-up double. And that is Taco Villa coupons, courtesy of that Kai Murphy double. Double meat cheeseburger coupons there for San Antonio Mission fans there at Nelson Wolf Stadium. And that one is right there in the count now, 0-1 to the next batter up, Luis Verdugo. Verdugo coming in. Here's the windup and the pitch. That one's going to be a high pop-up straightaway. Shortstop looks at it, and that is out number 1. Boy, that is just, something that you don't want to even see when you get going into a batter's box position. Shortstop Ryan Jackson up the, batting in right hands. That's going to be right there, high in the air. And that will land foul. It's 0-1. San Antonio has a man in scoring position. That one is high and outside for a ball, 1-1. Boy, to tell you one thing, pretty interesting here in Midland. And that is going to get away. And that will be the runner advancing 90 feet away on the wild pitch. And San Antonio has the first run coming up. Just a base hit, get something going. Two and one the count now to Ryan Jackson. And here is the pitch offering, and that one is in for the called strike, 2-2. Well, wet day to be outside there in San Antonio, and so far just stay inside, watch on the computer, or, hear this on the radio because we're live at KKYX. Kenya Huggins, boy, tell you one thing, 32% of his four-seam fastball has been for strikes, and it's a good thing for him, too. 2 down and runner at third. Here is center fielder Kai Roberts. Roberts coming in. Here's the pitch and offering to him. Ricochets foul. It's 0-1. Boy, hopefully all that work was made for nothing, getting that runner to third base. And the pitch, that one is right there, hanging on, is 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. The pitch, right there, hit the first. And in time, that ends the half inning. So no runs on a hit, no errors, 1 left, but they can't come across the score to this half inning. And we now head to the bottom of the third. Rockhounds lead it 3-0. So no runs on a hit, no errors, 1 left for San Antonio, the top of the third inning. So we go now to the bottom half of the third, and the Rockhounds coming to bat in the next half inning. Well, we go to the bottom half of the third, right now to the Rockhounds Baseball Network. Well, leading it off is Drew Swift. Coming in is 1-for-1. The pitch to him is in for the strike. It's 0-1. Welcome you back to West Texas Baseball here in Midland. Rockhounds up 3-0 against San Antonio. High in the air, straight away. Up to left field is Kai Murphy. Makes the play, and that is out number 1.
Now batting, second baseman, number 17.
Colby Halter, the second baseman, comes in 0-for-1, a fly out tonight. Here's the pitch to him, and that one's going to be out of play, foul. 0-1 the count now for Halter. Here's the pitch. And that's going to be high in the air, straight away. That gets down through for the base hit right in front of Braden Carpathios. And that is a one-out single for Halter coming in. Well, I tell you one thing, we look at how fun it is to see that, you know, being in AAA is a real good thing, especially for Marcos Castañon and Rosman Verdugo. Always a good thing. Nate Nankiel, the right fielder, coming in. 1-for-1 RBI single in the first inning. Leo Dallas DeVries in Philadelphia. Boy, what a great honor to get handpicked by that. And that's going to be right there out of play foul. It's 0-2. You know, when you get handpicked, and it's always good if you're a prospect to get in and, you know, earn that title of being hand-selected to go to a futures game, and especially with San Antonio going to San Diego to get that one going, and that one's going to be out of play. It's 1-2, still hanging on. No ball, 1 balls and 2 strikes to count. Here's the pitch, and that's going to be a ball ricochet foul. It's 1-2. Going to San Diego is a huge honor, I would say. Right there, line drive, base hit to straightaway center. That is through. Boy, and Midland coming in good. And they are coming in with the bunches of runs. Here is Brendan Malone as he comes in. And that second baseman gets in. And he puts the stop to it. And that will be out number 2. Brendan Malone goes down retired. 2-on, 2 out here in this half inning. Here's the next batter, Blake Beers. Beers coming in. He swings and misses the initial offering. It's 0-1. 0-for-1, a strikeout tonight by the designated hitter, Beers. Wind up and the pitch, and that's going to be right there, line drive, and that is through for a hit. And now Midland will load the bases. 3 back-to-back singles continuing the half inning. And San Antonio trying to stop any more runs from coming in. But to tell you one thing, yeah, that will make a big difference here in this one. The Rockhounds have the golden opportunity of getting in and getting something going. Here is Luke Mann, 1-for-1 tonight. And that's going to be a ball right down, and that's going to score in 1 run, 2 runs. And that's going to be a 2-run double for Luke Mann. Now the Rockhounds lead it 5-0. Boy, and I tell you, if Bob was here, he would probably say, wow, that was a pretty good one right there. Well, El Paso and Oklahoma City were postponed tonight due to the rain, the weather that moved through Oklahoma City. Cameron Leary coming in now. That's a bouncy ball right there, straight away up to first is Sanabria, and that will finally do it. But 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors, and 2 left as we go now to the 4th inning. Midland leading it 5-0. We'll get set to go as Ethan Salas will get things ready for the top of the fourth for San Antonio when we come back. Well, just about set to go as we lead off the top half of the fourth inning for San Antonio. And now the catcher, Ethan Salas, 3-4-5 due up against Kenya Huggins. And that is going to be right there up to the left field wall. Here we go again with base hits that come in. And he is safely across up to second ahead of the throw. And Ethan Salas, by golly, that was too close for comfort right there, getting into a line drive double. Bob says, whoa, that was awfully close. Watching here in this one. And yes, his hands were on the plate just as the ball touched him. Romeo Sanabria, the next batter up for San Antonio. Now just remember, he is watching from San Antonio tonight. 0-for-1, a ground out tonight by Sanabria. Well, Bob and I, we keep in close contact. That one yanked foul. It's 1-1. Top of the fourth. Rockhounds 5, San Antonio nothing. That's a changeup swung on and missed. It's 1-2. Tied series here between the two. And that one is outside. It's 2-2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch on its way. Outside, full count. And on deck is the right fielder, Braden Carpathios. Here's the pitch. And that one fouls. And it's still holding on 3-2. 3 balls, 2 strikes. The pitch right there, swung on and missed. He misses it. And he goes down for the first out of the inning. Boy, to tell you one thing, it's always obvious to see that when you get into a batter's box, you have a full count, and all of a sudden, you're down on strikes. Brendan Carpathios coming in now as he'll take that one in for a strike. It's 0-1. The hue in the clouds starting to come on in as we go into almost the middle half of the ball game. That one right there, and that one is out of play. It's 0-2. Boy, trying to get something going here to bring in some runs, and boy, that is going to get loose, but not far enough to advance the runner from second. And that is 1-2. Boy, Springfield still leading at 7-2 against Tulsa. They're in the bottom of the second inning. And right there, swung on and missed, and that is out number 2. The 5th strikeout for Kenya Huggins. Boy, tell you one thing, getting pretty good for him. Corpus Christi leading 3-0 against Frisco. Top of the third as they go. Northwest Arkansas leading it 3-2 as they get into the bottom half of the 7th inning. Arkansas and Amarillo are scoreless as they go into the bottom of the 4th. 1 ball, 1 strike the count now. And here's the offering. Right there, ground ball straight away and in time to first, and that is another inning that San Antonio tried to get something going but ends up failing again. No runs on a hit, no errors, 1 left on for the Missions. And we go now to the bottom of the 4th. Midland leading it by 5-0. Clark Elliott will be up next for Midland as we get ready for the bottom of the 4th coming up. Well, just about set to go for the bottom of the fourth here in Midland. Right now, the Rockhounds Baseball Network. Leading it off, Clark Elliott coming in, and boy, he blisters that ball straight away center, and that's going to ricochet right off, and he's going to have a stand-up double to lead off the half inning.
Now batting.
Boy, now the hue of those clouds starting to make this ballpark glow orange. One more game tomorrow evening or actually tomorrow afternoon. Why do I say evening? Bob in the live chat says, come on, Jonathan, get a grip, will you? I would do my level best. Here's Shane McGuire now. McGuire coming in, 0-1 the count, and that's going to be high fly in the air straight away. And that's going to miss right off the right-hander's or right fielder's glove. And that's going to plate in a run. And now that will be a RBI double by Shane McGuire. Don't reckon if they would call that an error on San Antonio. I bet you they would. Well, anyway, that's probably going to do for Emmanuel Pinales at 51 pitches. Now he comes out of this ball game just not doing too well tonight. Well, anyway, the manager's out on the way to the mound now, as that will do for Pinales. And so far, we're going to have the first reliever come in. And that's going to bring in the San Antonio right-handed reliever, Andrew Dahlquist, as he comes in with a scouting report, four-seam, two-seam, curveball, slider, and a changeup getting in. Bob says, boy, I tell you, if they would have called that an error, boy, I bet you San Antonio would have deserved that error just for the sheer fun of it. Drew Swift coming in now as he'll meet up the new arm. Takes a strike inside. It's 0-1. 1-for-2 double by Drew Swift, the shortstop. Runner at second after that RBI double that came across the score during the previous play. And that one is going to ricochet foul. It's 0-2. Rockhounds 6, San Antonio nothing here in this ball game. Boy, the Rockhounds doing really well. And they come in with bats hot in this one. And the seventh run comes across the score. Then Midland gets the RBI single. And it's now a 7-0 ball game for Midland. Boy, a Rockhounds win plus the fireworks show that comes in it. Boy, that would make anybody stay here at the ball game tonight. No balls and one strike to the second baseman, Colby Halter, who's 1-for-2, a single. Boy, San Antonio gives up a RBI double, a RBI single here in the half inning, and boy, they are just trailing a bunch here in this game. 1-1 the count now for Colby Halter. And here's the pitch. That one's a swing and a miss, and it's 1-2. Well, San Antonio's got a lot more innings to have to get something going, and so far their past few attempts have failed by a lot. And that one is going to get out of play foul. The catcher, Salas, tries to go after it, but most evidently it goes out of play. Well, out number one as Dahlquist gets that first strikeout, and now 2-for-2, two singles, RBI and a run. Here's right fielder Nate Nankill coming into the box. Going to tell you one thing, it's getting pretty interesting how Midland will pick up 7 runs. Boy, they're like the Springfield Cardinals nearly. Yeah, right there as, boy, the shortstop tries to get that ball, and it gets away from him. Now the first and third. And here is Brendan Malone as he comes in. Takes that one down and inside. It's 0-1. 0-for-2, line out and a ground out. Well, Bob, any advice? I mean, I know you're listening from San Antonio, but any advice you would share on our prospects here? Here's the 0-2 offering. Called strike 3, and that is out number 2. Bob says focusing on the strike zone, I can't even talk this evening, but focusing on the strike zone, this is Bob's words. Focusing on the strike zone is the key component to winning the ball game. Not wrong about that. Right there down, and he throws him out right out on the tag, and that ends the inning. Perfect play made by the plate, and that will do it. Man, now 7-0 here in this ball game as we go to the 5th inning. Midland leads it by 7-0. 2 runs, 4 hits, no errors, and they leave 2-1. And as we go to the top half of the 5th inning, Rockhounds in front. It's 7-0. Well, we start off the top half of the 5th inning here in Midland. And, man, look at the hue of those clouds. Boy, they are really putting on a show for us here tonight. Shihoe Tomokioka and James Gonzalez, a righty and a lefty, warming up to the Midland Rockhounds bullpen. Nate Mondu coming in. Here's a pitch to him, and that one is high and outside, 1-1. Color orange, that is the orange just shining right off of their jerseys. You know, I kind of like how this goes in every ball game. When you have the clouds and the sunset, and I tell you one thing, it gets pretty interesting as the sky just glows orange. Well, the call is overturned as that's a count now, 2-2. Boy, San Antonio through the past couple of innings made 2 attempts to score in a run, and both of those attempts have been flailed out. That one right there, line drive, that is up to left field, through for a hit. Boy, only San Antonio 3 hits allowed, but Midland 7 runs on 12 hits. And no errors. Here's the pitch. That one is high and outside for the ball, and the count now 1-0. Left fielder Kai Murphy is 1-for-1 double. Last time he came in, he knocked into a double. Runner at first, nobody out. Swing and a miss. Boy, if he would have holded up on that one, that would have been 2 balls and no strikes. But he just went after it anyways. And that one is inside, and the count now 1-2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. The count now is 1-for-1 as Murphy. And that one's going to ricochet foul. Last night game here in the first half, and tomorrow afternoon, 1:05. And that's getting away. So right behind the backstop will put the runner in scoring position on the wild pitch, and that happened twice tonight. Boy, that manager is there just saying, oh my goodness, come on, boys. Here's the pitch. And that right there is a swing and a miss, and that will go down as the first out and 6th strikeout for Kenya Huggins. 0-for-1 pop out. Here is Luis Verdugo as he comes in. Gets something ready to go, and the wind up the pitch, and that one's going to be high fly in the air. Boy, that is carrying well. And where's it going to go? And that's going to hit to the center field area. That will move the runner from second to third. And they're 2 down.
Now batting.
Boy, and I tell you, if San Antonio can at least get 1 hit, 1 run to get going, that would avoid them from being shut out tonight. But most definitely have to see how this one plays out. Just a base hit needed in this one. That one's high fly in the air, straight away, up to left field, and that does it. 3rd attempt into scoring here tonight gets snuffed out really badly, and that will end the half inning. No runs, 1 hit, no errors, 1 left. And we go now to the bottom of the 5th, Midland leading it 7-0. Well, we'll be right back here in this one as we continue the broadcast, and by golly, we'll be right back here in this one. Well, this proud broadcast brought to you in part by Rose's Cafe and Tortilla Factory. Join us every Tuesday night as we have $7.99 Taco Plate Tuesdays there at Rose's. Make sure you check out our locations, and so far, pretty good here in this one. Well, about set to go as we lead off the bottom half of the fifth inning, and here is Luke Mann. Boy, the hue really coming in this ball game, really pretty as we get going. That's a strike inside. It's 0-1. Texas League scores. Let's go ahead and give that to y'all. Northwest Arkansas leading at 4-2, bottom of the eighth inning. Springfield leading Tulsa 10-2, bottom of 3. Midland leading San Antonio 7-0. Corpus Christi leading 3-1 against Frisco, and Amarillo leading a run ahead of Arkansas 2-1 in this one. Here's the 0-2. That one's high pop up straightaway up to center field. Kai Roberts under it. Makes the play, and that is out number 1. Boy, to tell you one thing, lucky here in the ballpark as we see the sky glow orange. A one more night game here in this first half. I got to say, we got plumb lucky to see something like this. Cameron Leary coming in now as that one's going to be ricocheted foul. It's 0-1. When you see clouds like that, it really puts on a great light show. You know, fans would say, ooh and ah. Bob says it's a great show, and I tell you one thing, it's really good. There's the 0-2 offering. That one is out of play. And holding on 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. And that one's a high pop-up straight away. Plenty of time, and that goes out number 2.
Now batting, left fielder, Clark Elliott.
Well, left fielder Clark Elliott is the 1-for-2 double and a run. Boy, to tell you one thing, getting pretty interesting as we see these two teams continue to just battle it out here in this series. 0-1. Right there outside is 1-1. Boy, to tell you one thing, pretty interesting as we move into the later innings, and San Antonio continues to struggle after giving up 3 attempts to score in. Boy, just tell you one thing, it's not exciting to see what happens, but Midland has had these runs come in the bunches. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Here's the windup and the pitch. Swing and a miss. They got him. So nothing doing. No runs, hits, or errors, and nobody left on as we go to the top half of the 6th inning. And boy, just look at that. Sunset, clouds, baseball. I got a grunt to that. That one right there for Benji Hernandez, part of West Creek Trail Rides there in San Antonio. Well, midway through half of this ball game, and so far just a pretty good one here. Boy, Rockhounds wowing the fans here tonight with the 7 runs, 12 hits, and no errors here in this one.
Now pitching.
Well, the Rockhounds will have a right-hander, Shihoi Tomokioka, as he comes in. The scouting report looks like this. 4-seam slider splitter and a knuckle. 95 on that 4-seamer. Top half of the 6th inning, here's the center fielder, Kai Roberts. As that one is outside as 1 ball and no strikes, 0 for 2 and 2 groundouts to Roberts. Man, and I tell you one thing, you look at that sky and it is glowing orange. Glad Mother Nature put on a show for us as that one right there now 1-1 the count. Hopefully in the second half when we come back on Friday, July 17th through the 19th, we'll see this in San Antonio. taking on the Corpus Christi Hooks. Here's a 1-2, and that one's going to be high and outside, 2-2. Now just remember that will be our last 3-game series against the Hooks this year.
That's ball 3.
And that is ball 3. Ethan Salas waits on deck. Here's a 3-2 offering, and that one yanked foul. It's still hanging on. Well, Sun fixing to get ready to set here in Midland tonight. Ball 4, and Roberts takes the base. And oh my goodness, now they're going to call strike 3 on him. So now that's going to be a difficult situation as Roberts is going to argue about that. Yeah, I bet a San Antonio manager would have been infuriated with that call. You know, Bob says, well, what can you do? High in the air straight away up to the third baseman, leaving that third base to get it in the foul territory. That's out number 2. Romeo Sanabria coming in now as he's 0 for 2 with strikeout and a ground out for San Antonio. Boy, that could have been an easy ball 4 if the second man was to get on, and
Ball 1.
no doubt about it, but now they call third strike on him. A.J. Causey and James Gonzalez, a righty and a lefty, warming up to the Rockhounds bullpen. Here's a 1-0 offering. That one is high for a ball, 2-0. Two balls and no strikes. The pitch outside, ball 3, and that's on deck, Braden Carpathios. 3-0 count. Top of the 6th inning, Rockhounds lead 7-0. And that is inside for a strike. It's 3-1. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 out, nobody on for San Antonio. That one right there, ground ball straight away up to second. And in time, they throw him out at first, and that does it. So, no runs, hits, or errors, nobody left on for the Missions as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning, and it is 7-0 Midland. Shane McGuire coming up for the bottom of the 6th, straight ahead right after the break. Well, we lead it here in the bottom half of the sixth inning. Here's the next batter, Shane McGuire, as he gets ready to go for Midland. 9-1-2 against Andrew Dahlquist, the relief starter for San Antonio. Pitches in that one for a strike. It's 0-1. Boy, rain still a big issue there in San Antonio, and looked at the Weather Channel, thunderstorms possible after midnight. No balls, 2 strikes. The pitch right there downstairs is 1-2. So far, could have a slight chance tomorrow afternoon as we'll get ready. 6th and final meetup here in the road series here in Midland. That one right there up to center field. Roberts as he'll make the play, out number 1.
The shortstop, number 6.
Boy, top of the 9th inning there in Wichita. 4-3 the score. Northwest Arkansas in the front lead of that score. Drew Swift is 2 for 3. Takes a strike inside. It's 0-1. Thunderstorms continue through the rest of the week as well, off into the Texas League All-Stars break. And even Midland. Midland has at least a slight chance tomorrow. Monday and Tuesday, not a laughing matter. It might come in. But evidently knowing it would be a pretty good one. 0-2, here's the pitch, and that's going to be lined straight above right field. And that is a 1-out single for Drew Swift.
Second baseman, number
Boy, the second baseman, Colby Halter, coming in 1 for 3. Takes a strike inside. It's 0-1. 1 for 3 single on a run by Halter tonight. Boy, can't believe that Springfield is up 10-2. Top of the 4th inning, now going to the bottom of the 4th. The 0-1. And that is inside for a strike. It's 0-2. Frisco and Corpus Christi tied 3-3. Bottom of the 4th inning. And the 0-2 right there, swung on and missed. They got him. And Halter is down on strikes.
number 39.
Nate Nankill, the right fielder, coming in with 3 for 3, 3 singles to a run, an RBI. So far, pretty good for that. Here's the pitch to him. High in the air, straightaway up to left field is Kai Murphy. Makes the play, and that's the half inning. Well, no runs on a hit, no errors, 1 left on for Midland as we go to the 7th inning. Midland leading it 7-0. So we'll be right back as we'll get things started. Braden Carpathios will lead it off. Fabian and Mondu will follow in from behind, and we'll be back here in this Texas League broadcast. Rockhounds 7, San Antonio 0. Well, we welcome you back to Rockhounds Baseball as we bring you the top of the 7th inning here in Midland. Leading it off for San Antonio, Braden Carpathios as he comes in, takes a strike inside. It's 0-1. Clouds starting to get a light orange. But most evidently, the sun going down to this final night of a night game baseball game here in the Rockhounds territory. No balls, 2 strikes, the count now. And the pitch right there, swing in the dirt. Goes down, throws to first in time, out number 1. With San Antonio down to their final 8 outs here tonight. In the second strikeout for the reliever, Shihei Tomokioka. Or Shohei Tomokioka. Here's the pitch, and that one is going to be yanked out of play, foul. It's 0-1. Shohei from the great state of Hong Kong. Here is the 0-1, and that's going to be right there in the count now, 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes. And that one is outside, 1-2. Well, anyway, Rockhounds will be back to take on Arkansas, and their night games here will be really good just to get in. 2 down, and that will pretty much be it for Shohei Tomokioka, as here comes the manager. And so far, they're going to pull him out of this ball game and give somebody else a go.
Now pitching.
Well, we go to a right-hander, A.J. Causey, as he comes in, a sinker, sweeper, a circle change, and a cutter. Coming into the scouting report of this Rockhounds right-hander. And so far, a pretty good one. Here is Nate Mondu, the third baseman, 1-for-2 single. 2 outs here in this game. Here in the top of the 7th for San Antonio. And the sinker is in for a strike. It's 0-1 as he goes after it. No balls, 1 strike to the pitch. And that one is crushed high in the air, deep to center. And the center fielder will make the play. That ends the half inning. Well, time for the 7th inning stretch here in Midland. And we go to the bottom of the 7th. Brennan Malone coming up now as we get ready to do this one. Well, 7th inning stretch here as we get ready to go here in this one. Well, hope everybody enjoyed the seventh inning stretch as we move on to the bottom of the seventh inning, right now to the Rockhounds Baseball Network. Brendan Malone coming in, middle half of the order, 4, 5, and 6 due up against Andrew Dahlquist, now at 37 pitches. Takes a strike inside, it's 0-1. Confidence level really high as, boy, he's been doing pretty good. Hasn't given up a run since. The count now 0-2 as that's fouled off. Boy, pretty nice as we saw the clouds, the hue, everything. It was pretty tonight. Out number 1 as that will be the fifth strikeout for Dahlquist. And now here is designated Blake Beers as he gets in. Bob says even San Antonio saw that tonight. The clouds, the rain, everything today was really good, and bet you it needed some water and stuff. That one right there, out of play. It's 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes to count. And here is the pitch.
Ball 1.
And that is downstairs. And the count now at 1-2. I was thinking somebody was at the door, but most evidently being here in the booth all by myself doing this game tonight. And the swing, the miss, and that's downstairs and in the strike zone for the 6th strikeout. And there is 2 down. Luke Mann coming up now, 2 for 3, double single, 2 RBIs and a run. Boy, Midland doing really good tonight, leading a 7-0 lead. And boy, shutting San Antonio out last night, 3-0. And now hopefully trying to shut them out again tonight with a 7-0 finish here in this one. That one's going to be right there, and then the count now 0-2. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 out, nobody on for Midland. The pitch. That one is got high in the air, straight away up the center field is Kai Roberts. He'll make the play. And that's the side retired. So no runs, hits, or errors, and nobody on for Midland as we leave the 7th inning. 7 innings come and go. Rockhounds up 7-0. 8th inning coming up. Ty Murphy getting set to go, and we'll be right back here in this one. Well, we are to the top half of the 8th inning, and this proud broadcast is brought to you in part by our friends there at Taco Villa. Don't forget that you boys and girls out there have your voucher books, and make sure you go out for free breakfast, lunch, or dinner. Make sure you go and get something to eat there at Taco Villa. It spice your life. Top half of the 8th inning, here is left fielder Kai Murphy as he comes in and fouls that one out of play. It's 0-2. 6 outs to go for San Antonio here tonight. And that one yanked out of play. It's 0-2. Still hanging on. One last time, these stadium lights will be on in this first half in the regular season here in Midland. That one high fly in the air. That one is out of play and falls foul. And it's 0-2. Boy, a lot of times these stadium lights have been on, and so far always good to give them a little rest break. Up to left field as that will be out number 1. And now San Antonio down to their final 5 outs. Second baseman Luis Verdugo coming in now as he's 0 for 2. Boy, Arkansas down to the bottom of the 7th inning against Amarillo. It is a close game. Sod Poodles continue that lead by 2-1. Boy, 14,000 fans here tonight in Midland. Boy, 7-0 here for Midland here in this ball game, and boy, pretty good. Well, Northwest Arkansas claims the W here in Wichita. Final score 4-3. And right there, that's a swing and a miss, and well, they're down to their final 4 outs with San Antonio.
Number 9.
Shortstop is Ryan Jackson. Boy, Jackson coming in pretty good, and that is right there in the count now, 0-1. Well, they head to the top of the 8th there in Amarillo at Water Ridge Field in downtown Amarillo. Just a pretty good baseball park for the Sod Poodles. Well, San Antonio will be there soon. That one is outside. The count now 1-2. 9 games of the second half, I should say. 3 with Corpus Christi, 6 with Frisco, and then head to Amarillo after that for that 6. Then you'll have Springfield, Frisco, Northwest Arkansas, Midland, and Amarillo, and that concludes that second half. Well, right there's the third base look. No runs, hits, or errors, and nobody left on as we conclude the half inning, and it is 7-0 Midland. About to go for the bottom half of the 8th inning. Right now, the Rockhounds Baseball Network. Well, Taco Villa pitching change coming up. Evan Fitterer is going to be on the mound for San Antonio. Four-seam curveball changeup and a slider coming in for the Missions, getting into this next half inning of work. The leadoff batter, Cameron Leary, 1 for 3, 7, 8, 9, due up for this bottom half of 8. Game almost over tonight, boy, and Midland led the charge through the start of this game. 1 run, bottom of the first, 2 in the bottom of the second inning. That was pretty good. That's a pitch right there and out of play. In the count now, 0-2. Boy, Corpus Christi leading 5-3 against Frisco. They are the bottom of the 5th. Springfield 10-2, bottom of 5.
Ball.
We're bottom of the 8th inning, 7-0 Midland here in Franco Park, Midland, Texas. And 1 out of play, and it's 1-2. Midland is a pretty good, sizable town. Over 180,000 people live here. Also, a high population in the oil field industry. Up to the right field is Braden Carpathios next to the 323 marker. He'll make the play for the out, and Midland down to the final 2 outs tonight. Left fielder Clark Elliott, 1 for 3. Comes into a double and a run tonight for Midland. And the pitch is right there and in for a called strike. It's 0-1. No balls, 1 strike to count. The pitch. And that one's going to be line drive straight away up to right field, and that is through for a hit. Boy, and just a pretty good lone 1-run hit gets it going, I would say. Shane McGuire coming in, hits that one out of play. Yeah, that's foul. It's 0-1. 1 for 3, double RBI and a run tonight for the catcher. Well, not the last time we'll see the Midland Rockhounds, but most definitely we'll see them 7 more times this season. At least 1 more tomorrow afternoon for this first half. That is out number 2 is caught to the right fielder.
Now batting, the shortstop,
Braden Carpathios, a pretty good prospect there in the right field area for San Antonio. Drew Swift, the shortstop, 3 for 4, a double. Well, 1 more game tomorrow, then the first half comes to a complete conclusion. And after that, second half will get ready to go. San Antonio will start off 3 against Corpus Christi, 6 with Frisco. Then a road trip to Amarillo. Then back to San Antonio to take on Springfield. 6 in Frisco after the 6 against the Cardinals. And then it'll be going back to San Antonio to take on Northwest Arkansas after that trip to Frisco. Rockhounds will be to San Antonio, and they'll pick him off at second instead of going to first with it, and that will be the side retired. Season finale in Amarillo will start September 9th. And so far, pretty good. I think that's what it is, but most evidently, we will take a look at that. So, no runs, hits, or errors, and nobody left on for Midland. We go to the top of the 9th inning, and it is 7-0 Midland. Well, top half of the ninth inning, and we're set to go. And yes, I did forget that, well, we're going to have to start all over the second half teams that San Antonio plays. But anyway, let's go ahead and get that going. So it'd be Corpus Christi Frisco for the 9-game homestand. San Antonio at Amarillo were 6. Then Springfield, Frisco, Northwest Arkansas, Springfield, Midland, and Amarillo in that one. Well, C.D. Pelham, a left-hander, is on the mound for Midland. Now, I do apologize about y'all, getting y'all a little bit confused, but was thinking that, after Northwest Arkansas, we would take on Midland right after that. But we have that road trip to Springfield. I mean, let's not forget, knock on wood. Bob says, yeah, Johnny, you really got to focus there. Ooh. Well, that's got to hurt, but that will be the out. 1-4-3 score to the play. And right off the foot of that reliever. And there is one down. Boy, tell you one thing, that's a rough out number 1, and the runner should have made it safely to first. Now San Antonio's down to their final 2 outs. 2 for 3 here tonight. Double and a single by Ethan Salas. Tell you one thing, now we just hit the 9 o'clock hour. 30 minutes to the end broadcast of tonight's game. But most evidently, fireworks show coming up in conclusion of tonight's ball game here in Midland. Right there in out number 2, and San Antonio down to their final out tonight.
Number 93.
And so far, it looks like Midland will break this tiebreaker against San Antonio. Romeo Sanabria 0 for 3, a strikeout and 2 groundouts tonight. But anyway, as we progress onward to the second half, we'll continuously to let y'all know who we're playing and where we're playing. But 9 games in San Antonio is straight ahead after this 4 days being off. But after that, that will do it. Well, Midland will take the W. The final score is 7-0. Second night in a row, they will shut them out. And that will pretty much do it. Well, fans are going to get treated to a fireworks show, and this will be the last one of this first half. Kenya Huggins will take the win. Emmanuel Penales will take the loss for San Antonio. And so far, there was no save situation in this ball game. 2 teams will conclude it tomorrow afternoon. 1:05, gates open at high noon. So make sure you guys get ready to go there. Bob says do one more on the second half teams. We'll see if I can close my eyes and don't look at anything. Following in that second half, and here we go. Corpus Christi and Frisco to lead off that homestand for 9. Road trip to Amarillo, back home to San Antonio, taking on Springfield for 6. And then to Frisco we go. San Antonio taking on the Rough Riders for the last 6 games of the year. And then it'll be Northwest Arkansas at San Antonio, then road trip to Springfield. And then back to San Antonio taking on Midland. And then off to Amarillo to take on the Sod Poodles for the last 6 games of the regular season. See that right there? A pretty good one. Cameron Leary, 1 for 4, a home run and 2 RBIs. Kenya Huggins takes the W for Midland. And the loss tonight goes to Emmanuel Penales, who takes the loss for San Antonio. Well, two teams will conclude this series tomorrow afternoon, and by golly, wished it wasn't so, but most evidently, it is what it is. So, one more tomorrow, that will be great. And then 4 days being off, that is much needed. These boys work really hard, and they do deserve the off time. And most likely, it is much needed, as these boys went from opening day, the early start of April, to July 12th, which that is tomorrow. But most evidently, it is what it is. Take that as face value for that one. Well, anyway, we hope that everybody has had a pretty good night, and so far, it was a pretty good one. Midland took their 41st win, and tomorrow could be a decision maker as we all look at it. So the Rockhounds take their 41st, and San Antonio taking their 45th of this regular season loss. But anyway, 6 teams to go, and boy, Arkansas took a 4-2 top half of the 8th lead. Springfield continues to lead in the top half of the 6th inning. And I got to say, getting pretty good right there in DCJ Field. Corpus Christi continuing to lead at 5-3, bottom of the 6th inning there in this one. But anyway, a pretty good night thus far for everybody here. Well, anyway, fireworks are going off as let's give you runs, hits, and errors first for the victorious Midland Rockhounds here in Game 5. 7 runs, 14 hits, no errors. And for San Antonio, only just 4 hits allowed. Well, anyway, we will see y'all again for the last time of this first half tomorrow afternoon at 1:05 here in Midland. And this will be the last road trip for San Antonio to the Rockhounds organization. But after tomorrow, San Antonio takes on Midland for at least 6 more times to the second half. And so far, pretty good on that. Midland will tie break it against San Antonio, winning this one tonight to the final of 7-0. And gotta say, it was pretty much the night that it was shut out again for the Missions. Well, with a Friday night finish by 3-0. Now tonight, a 7-0 lead for Midland. They got 1 run in the bottom of the first, 2 doubles going from the 2nd to the 4th inning. And I got to say, that was pretty good for the Rockhounds as they came in and took their 41st of the season. With that, San Antonio is now tied up with the Rockhounds. And boy, tell you one thing, a pretty good one for them here tonight. Well, anyway, fireworks continuing to go on in the after-game show here in this one. And gotta say, pretty good. Well, Bob, are you still on? Okay, he says yes. But anyway, Bob, if you have anything to say, what would you say? Because I know you're not here in Midland tonight, but what would you say in this ball game despite what we saw tonight? Well, Bob says, despite the 7 runs, it was pretty good for Midland, but all the more reason is San Antonio tried so hard to get some scores in, but 3 times they have flailed getting in and trying to get some runs in. But most evidently, I guess it is what it is. Well, anyway, we will say goodnight for this one, and so far tomorrow, catch us live at 1 o'clock as we get ready to wrap it up on a Sunday afternoon. And for the last time, we say goodbye for this first half. And then see you back in San Antonio for that 9-game homestand. Corpus Christi and Frisco to lead it off. Well, anyway, y'all have a good night and safe travels home. And so far, have a good one.